What's up, everybody? Gonna go into some reframing tonight. Last night we were talking about fear and addressing the fear of this situation. Tonight we're going to be going over reframing. Gonna go over some brain science first, because I think the more that you all understand how the brain actually functions, the more safe you will feel. The more that you understand how the brain functions, the more safe you're going to feel. So remember, you got the reptile brain. That, and 95% of the population right now is what is dominating, is the reptile brain. That is purely for survival. That's your lizard brain. It's no thought. It's lightning quick. It's always scanning for signs of danger. Okay. Then on top of that, you have the mammal brain. The mammal brain is connection. That is something that we need a lot right now, is connection. We need connection, we need bonding, we need experience, emotion. So that part of your brain's emotion and whatnot. And then you have the human brain, which is forward-thinking thought. It's logic, it's reason, it's goal setting. And that's what we have to bring back online right now, is the human brain. If we're letting the animals run the show, there's going to be reactions. It's going to be insanity, hysteria, all the stuff we've been seeing, okay? So knowing that those layers of the brain and everything your animal brain does, it's always scanning. It's always scanning. And right now, it's scanning and it's picking up, hey, your life is in danger. So that is what is going on right now. Now, how do we reframe this situation? So reframing, I've always said, is one of the most powerful skills that is not taught, that should be mandatory learning. It should be mandatory learning on how to reframe. So think of reframing. There's something called the open loop theory. So if I have a loop, okay, and it's not closed right here, that's an open loop theory. The brain does not like this gap. It wants to fill that in. So how do you use that to your advantage? By reframing. You can ask, what's great about this problem? What's the positive that's going to come out of this? And your brain will come up with an answer to that, because I promise you, like I was saying yesterday, there's going to be a lot of positive things that come out of this situation. There's going to be a lot of positive, I'm telling you. People are going to raise their level of spirituality. People are going to raise their level of fitness. They're going to get closer with those that are close to them. They're not going to take things for granted anymore. We'll be more aware as a society. So there's a lot of positive that will come out of this. So that's what I want you to ask yourself is, what is great about this problem? Your brain will come up with an answer. It will. Going back to that open loop theory, the reason TV shows are designed the way they are, think of your favorite show, your favorite series. They always kind of leave you hanging, so you have to tune in for the next episode, because the people that write these shows are very smart. Novels that have sequels and whatnot, very smart. They know the brain is going to crave to fill in that gap, so they leave you hanging. In this case, the brain will give you something to whatever you ask of it. What is great about this problem? So if you have questions about reframing, as I keep kind of just riffing here on this stuff, let me know, because I'm glad to answer them. It's all about where you got it, Action Jackson. Simple and be healthy. It's all about where are you putting your attention. What are you putting your attention on is going to grow. It's going to expand. As I was saying yesterday, don't go on social media tonight. Don't watch the latest stories from the news, because you know they're not going to be positive. You know they're not going to be positive. Where are you going to shine your light? Where your attention goes, energy flows, and results will follow. So where your attention goes is where your energy is going to go. So if you can focus on that reframing, as far as what positives have already come out of this, that's another way to look at it. What positives for you and your family have already come out of this? I guarantee you, a lot of people are spending a lot more time at home with their kids than they otherwise would. We're being forced to get back to the family unit. Remember, that mammal brain craves the family unit, and the love and the nurturing and the esteem and whatnot. And most people go through the whole week and they don't really get to connect on that level. So you got to think with that part of your brain. The reason pet therapy works Like if you think of dogs, it's because when we look at them, we know there's no judgment coming from them. There's no judgment coming from the dog. The animal brain, the mammal brain, is very, very, very sensitive to judgment, hypersensitive to judgment. So when we look at dogs and we know that we're not going to get judged by them, we feel safe, we feel secure. Now you got to get back to that level with the human beings in your life and your family. So that's one positive that's going to come out of it. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs that I was talking about yesterday? The bottom 2 levels, there's 5 levels. The bottom 2 are pure physiological survival and safety. The next 2 are bonding and esteem and being with those that you love. And the top 1 is the human brain, that self-actualization, linear thought. If you ask yourself the reframing questions, what's great about this problem? And you take time to write this down or talk about it with somebody. You got to realize you're using your human brain with that. The animal brain doesn't work like that. And why that's important is because when the emotions are running the show, the human brain, the logical thought is way down. Logic and emotions don't mix. If emotions are high, logic is going to be low. That's not what we need right now. What we need, and your family needs you to be a leader, to bring logical, linear thought to this situation, which means you got to slow down the thought process. Remember, the human brain responds. The animal brain reacts, and it's often lightning quick, before we can even formulate an intelligent response, okay? Yesterday we talked about fear. I was thinking about this morning when I was working out. On my wrist, one of my tattoos, it's written up there somewhere, is "This too shall pass." This too shall pass. This will pass. It'll pass, and it'll become a part of history. But what are you doing in the moment? How are you going to use it to your advantage? If you need to do an individual mind map lesson, just let me know. I'm happy to do that for you. Does anybody have any questions about reframing, the art of reframing, the open loop theory, anything that they need clarity on? Because when the brain doesn't have clarity, that's one of the main things that'll put us into threat mode. So we have 2 things right now. If we look at the 3 things that are huge stressors for the brain, we have 2 things very active right now. Actually 3, so let me break this down. We have a lack of clarity. Unclear intent puts the brain into stress mode. Lack of clarity, because the brain is a pattern recognition machine. It likes prediction and response, and right now we have no idea what's going on. We're kind of being left in the dark with a lot of this stuff, right? So we have unclear intent. We're very confused, so that puts us in a stress mode. Too fast. Things have moved way too fast for most of us with this. If you think back to last Wednesday is when it's like the switch was flicked. Monday, Tuesday, everything was pretty much normal. Wednesday, it's like somebody flicked the switch and all of a sudden it was code red. So it's way too fast. It's very unclear for most of us, very confusing. And then you have the third piece, which is going to come into play, I promise you, too slow. When we start losing our freedoms and we're stuck inside for periods of time, things are going to be moving too slow. That's going to start stressing us out, which is another reason you really got to focus on that mind map stuff. We have to be able to manage our state. We have to be able to get workouts in at home. You got to do the things I was talking about in the stress video I made today, as far as reading fiction, laugh, walk, all that stuff, right? That stuff is going to be very, very beneficial to you. But I'm going to keep these videos coming every night until this is over. I'm going to be doing these for you guys. And a lot of times, unless you have specific questions, I'll go with what I think I'm feeling in the air as far as what we need for mind map in this group. But anything that has to do with the brain, I'm super happy to help. If you're dealing with a lot of fear and anxiety, we can definitely tackle that again. I'm sure that's the main thing. And remember, your fear is future-based thought. The future doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. And it is, Brian, when you take a walk, you're welcome, Anya. Taking a walk is the only form of exercise that lowers stress hormones, and it robs the parietal lobe. So parietal lobe is where a lot of these emotions arise from. But movement uses the same part of the brain. So we can rob, when we start getting too anxious, too worked up, the energy from that part of your brain just by simple movement. And you're right, Brian, we reset our shift of thinking. So you're welcome, Anya. Thanks for tuning in, James. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be doing another mind map at night if there's anything specific you want with it. Oh, I was telling you, your fear is in the future. We got this, outlaw, and you're very welcome. The fear is in the future. The future doesn't exist. It does not exist. That's a mind-blowing concept, but it's never here. It's always now. So the fear is future-based thought. Think about right now. All you can control is right now. All right, love you guys. Be back tomorrow. We got a 7 a.m. workout with the Canuck. Peace.